In this video, I'm going to go over how to use recursion to print a string in reverse. So we're going to say here car s is equal to this is the way, and this will be sort of our test string here. And then we'll make a function to print this string in reverse. So we'll say here void print reverse car star s. And then we'll provide a definition of the function down here. So remember that strings in C are really just a pointer to the first character in the string, where a pointer is a memory address. So what S is here is a pointer to this memory address. It stores this memory address here. And the way we're going to solve this problem is we're going to have print reverse repeatedly call itself with the next character in the string. And that's going to be the first thing it does. We're going to repeatedly call itself with a pointer to the next character in the string. So I'll say here print reverse s plus 1. And this is what's called pointer notation when we do that. It's pointer arithmetic, we could say, as well. And what we're doing is we're basically taking this pointer here to this character here, and we're saying, have it point to the next one. And in doing this, having print reverse repeatedly call itself with the next character, with sort of a pointer to the next character in the string here, we're basically going through each one of these characters here in the string. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to have print reverse do this first. So like find the next character first. That's the first thing it does. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to print the character. So we're going to say printf, and we're going to say %c. And then to actually print out the character that s is currently pointing to, this is another pointer notation thing here. We're going to say here star s. So star s means go get what s is pointing to. S is the pointer. S is the memory address. So S is initially like a pointer to this character here, right? And then we call the function, it's pointing to this character here, and this character here, and this character here, and so on as we call the function. But when we say star S, we are saying here, go get the character that S is pointing to, the thing that it's pointing to, and then we're actually printing that out as a character here. And so what we're gonna do is, because we're repeatedly calling this function first with the next character, we're basically building up this stack of print reverse function calls, where, you know, the first function, print reverse, that one is basically waiting to print the T character. But before it does the T character, before it does the printing of the T character there for this, we're calling it again, but for the H character, right? So we're saying, okay, before we do that though, let's print reverse the H character, right? And then it's like, well, before we printf the H character though, because that's the second thing we're going to do, the function first gets called with I. And we basically have this now stack of function calls that are going to be built up all the way to the end of the string here. And it's going to get unrolled. It's like once we reach the last character in the string, that's when we're going to want to stop. We're going to want to stop calling print reverse at that point. And when we stop calling print reverse, then at that point, it's sort of like all these calls, all these function calls get unrolled. And then we start doing the printing, right? So it's like, okay, we're going to print the last character and this character and this character and this character all the way down to I, H, and T, right? So it's a little tricky to picture in our heads, but it's an interesting case study, because if we can understand this, we can really understand recursion. Now we've got one tricky thing here. Eventually we have to stop calling print reverse. When do we know to stop calling print reverse? So we know to stop calling print reverse when the character that S is pointing to is the null terminator. So remember, strings in C, they end with this special null terminator character that looks like this, /0. And so we want to end our calling of print reverse whenever S is pointing to this character, the null terminator, the thing at the end of the string here. So we're going to say here, if star S doesn't equal the null terminator, keep going. But if it ever does, we don't want to do anything. If it ever does equal the null terminator, that's when we're done. We don't want to call print reverse. We don't want to do anything because we're at the end of the string. So we'll just test this function out now. We'll say here, print reverse S. And we'll just throw a new line on at the end there just to make it kind of nicer. And then we'll do a compilation over here. And we'll run it. And we get the string printed out in reverse. But we're using recursion to do it. Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers, including courses to help you develop C programming projects.